Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to study about a new homeopathic remedy called nitricum acidum, common name nitric acid. The physical properties of nitric acid are fuming liquid, very caustic. Caustic means an agent which can burn the tissues, which can corrode, very caustic, having highly irritating odor, soluble in water and dilute alcohol. It attacks most metals, evolving brown fumes. The medicinal uses of nitric acid: escharotic, warts and warty tumors, phagedenic ulcers. Phagedenic means tropical ulcers which are found in the tropical countries, cankers and poisoned bites. Cankers are the lesions which are found in the first stage of the syphilis. Dilute acid internally in fevers to quench thirst. So these are the medicinal uses. You use the dilute nitric acid. It is given internally during fevers to quench the thirst, to satisfy the thirst. Bronchitis and theses. Theses is nothing but an old term for tuberculosis. Bronchitis and tuberculosis, in these conditions, nitric acid diminishes the excessive secretions. Syphilis, injected to bladder in dilute form, it will dissolve the calculi. So these are all the medicinal uses of nitric acid. Next we move on to the introduction. The common name nitric acid, the source mineral kingdom, prover Dr. Hahnemann. The formula is HNO3, H, N is 1 and O3. The duration of action of nitric acid is 40 to 60 days. The temperament, nervous and irritable temperament. Nitric acid has nervous and irritable temperament. Diatheses, hemorrhagic diatheses. What do you mean by hemorrhagic diatheses? Which means they have a tendency to bleeding. Thermal relationship, they are chilly patients. The miasmatic background, all the three miasms, that is psora, psychosis and syphilis, are found in nitric acid. The sphere of action of nitric acid along with the pathogenesis on the entire physical body, it is going to produce great prostration, debilitation and weakness. Guys, prostration here means the person is exhausted to such an extent that he lies straight on the ground. He is too tired, exhausted, debilitated, weakened. Debilitated is being feeble and weakness, and it is present all over the body, the entire physical body. The person is going to have weakness, prostration and debilitation. On the mouth, it's like inflammation and destructive ulceration. Nitric acid produces blisters and ulcers in mouth, tongue and genitals which bleed easily. So, acting upon the mucous membrane. Here nitric acid, we learned that it is caustic, it is corrosive in nature. So, it is going to produce a discontinuity in the mucous membrane and resulting in ulcers and blisters. There is a destructive ulceration. Mucocutaneous junctions like mouth, rectum, anus and vagina. So guys, the mucocutaneous junction is the best site for the nitric acid to act upon. It acts on the mucocutaneous junction. Where all the mucocutaneous junctions found? It is in the mouth, rectum, anus, vagina. Acting there, it is going to produce destruction, inflammation, resulting in blisters and ulcer formation. On the digestive system, there is going to be hemorrhage and diarrhea. Hemorrhage and diarrhea. On the blood, the nitric acid is decomposing the blood, resulting in anemia. Blood decomposition, it is breaking up of the RBC and resulting in anemia. On the bones and the joints, nitric acid produces inflammatory changes resulting in arthritis. So, nitric acid is an indication for arthritis. On the rectum, it produces fistures with a pain during stool as if rectum would tear. You know, fistures are the cracks. They are pain. These fistures are going to produce a pain during the stool as if the rectum would tear. You can see here the anal fissure. There is a longitudinal tear in the rectum. What are the ailments from? Ailments from of nitric acid is long-lasting anxiety, anguish from loss of dearest friend. What is anguish? Anguish is nothing but the suffering of a person. The suffering could be in a mental as well as a physical form. Here the person has a mental suffering from the loss of his dearest friend, loss of sleep, long-lasting anxiety, anguish from loss of dearest friend, loss of sleep. Continuation of ailments. Some virulent poison, overexertion of mind and body, nursing the sick. Ailments from are some virulent poisons, highly toxic poisons, and overexertion of his mind and body, nursing the sick. These are all the ailments for the diseases. Ailments are also from riding in a carriage, repeated use of digitalis, syphilis, abuse of mercury. So guys, here let's summarize the ailments from long-lasting anxiety, anguish from loss of dearest friend, loss of sleep, corrosive poisons, overexertion of mind and body, nursing the sick, riding in carriage, repeated use of digitalis, abuse of mercury, and syphilis. Now let us move on to the physical constitution of nitric acid. Lean, thin, debilitated, person with rigid fibers, black hair, dark complexion, broken down constitution, greatly prostrated, cachetic, emaciated, anemic individuals with an ugly appearance. So, the physical constitution, you need to imagine a person who is having a dark complexion, black hair. She is very lean, thin, debilitated, cachetic and emaciated, greatly prostrated. She is very sad, broken down constitution. She is low spirited, hopeless, broken down constitution, anemic with an ugly appearance. Miasmatic picture of the nitric acid. According to Dr. John Henry Clark, all the miasms are found in this remedy. So, John Henry Clark says that all the three miasms, that is sora, psychosis and syphilis, are found in nitric acid. How in the sora? It is going to produce soreness in the mouth. It occurs as thesis. Thesis is nothing but tuberculosis. It is going to act on the mouth to cause soreness. In the psychosis, warty growths, extra growths come under psychosis. So the warty growths which can be seen as condylomata. So guys, the second stage of the syphilis, we see condylomata formation here. So psychosis, the warty growths which can be seen as condylomata, fistures, fistula and hemorrhoids. Syphilis. Syphilitic action on mucocutaneous junctions like mouth, anus, genitals. It is going to act on the mucocutaneous junctions like mouth, anus and genitals. Fistures are the cracks and fistula is a abnormal communication between the two hollow organs or the epithelial surfaces of the organs. If a communication or abnormal communication is found, then it is known as a fistula. Fistures are nothing but the cracks. Hemorrhoids, piles. Now let us move on to the characteristic mental symptoms. How are all the mentals found in nitric acid? Theme of this remedy is feeling of sudden death and danger. So the person is going to find there is a death of danger. There is sudden death and danger. A person feels he is going to die. Constant feeling of threat in several spheres, health, work, relationship. So the person is always threatened. He is fear. He is having a lot of fear. He is fearful about his health. He has anxiety about the health. He has anxiety about the work. threatened about the work, that he may lose his job, threatened about the relationship, as if he's going to end up in a divorce or a breakup. So he's always threatened. Fighting for constant threat. Hard, obstinate struggle. Hard, obstinate struggle means the person won't give up easily. Obstinate is what? Stubborn. They stick on to it. They achieve their goal. Hard, obstinate struggle. Unforgiving, violent, malicious attitude plus internalized anger. Here nitric acid is very peculiar mental symptom is unmoved by apology. These people are unforgiving. Once you hurt them, they are going to hold on a grudge on you guys forever. They are unmoved by apology. They are unforgiving. Malicious attitude. They have a desire to harm others. May it be physically or verbally. They want to harm others. Malicious attitude. Internalized anger is found. You can see the diagrams or the pictures here. There is internalized anger. They have a malicious attitude and unmoved by apology. Lot of effort plus lot of activity, which is leading to exhaustion. You can see the lot of effort. The girl is putting in a lot of effort in her office work, and lot of exhaustion is there in her. They pay superhuman struggle for their survival. It seems like they put in a lot of effort for their living. They pay superhuman struggle for their survival. Suspicious, mistrustful, sees danger everywhere. You offer them water, they feel you have poisoned the water. The food, poisoned food. Everything suspicious. You can see suspicious, mistrustful, they see danger everywhere. Anxiety about health, guards themselves every time. Not only for themselves but for their friends as well. They have anxiety about their health, not just for themselves, even for their friends. They are sympathetic, care for others, but it is conditional. So guys, you can see here the nitric acid, two contrasting symptoms you have to remember. One, they are unmoved by apology, they hold grudges, malicious attitude, unforgiving. Second thing, they have anxiety about the health, they care not only for themselves but also for their supporters, their friends only, not for the grudges on whom they hold grudges. They do not care for them, but for their friends, they are very good to their friends. They are sympathetic and they care for others, but it is going to be very conditional. Theme of danger also seen in delusions. Delusions about criminals. What sort of delusion they are going to have? Imaginary idea about the criminals. He has long-standing feud with someone who has harmed him. So, long-standing grudge with someone who has harmed him. We have already discussed this point. He survives being hateful, malicious, that is a desire to harm others, hard and unforgiving towards the enemy. Hard, unforgiving towards his enemy, but sympathetic towards his supporters. So we read the two contrasting symptoms here. One, they are unforgiving towards his enemy, which is like a bad thing, but they are sympathetic towards his supporters is a good thing, because he requires their support for his battle. Why does the nitric acid support his friends and his sympathetic and all caring to his friends? Because when he holds on a grudge or he wants to be malicious, harm others, he wants their support for that. For his battle, he wants support. That's the reason he's sympathetic towards his supporters. He cares a lot for his friends and can do anything for them. Combination of both cruelty and sympathy is found in nitric acid. Both cruelty and sympathy is found in nitric acid. They are taciturn. What is taciturn now? Taciturn are those people who are highly reserved. They are uncommunicative. They are not friendly. They do not express. They are not friendly with others. They do not mingle easily. Nitric acid doesn't mingle easily. Despondency. Despondency is the low spirited. Their hopelessness is found in them. They do not have hopes for life. They feel everything is, end of the life and end of everything here. They are despondent. Vindictive. Vindictive is having an unreasonable desire for revenge. they might have hurt him, but it doesn't mean that he has to take that level of revenge on them. But in nitric acid, he has unreasonable desire for revenge, that is nothing but being vindictive. Irresistible desire to curse and swear. The person wants to curse and swear on others. He abuses, uses bad words, he curses other people. That is taciturn, despondency, vindictive, irresistible desire to curse and swear. What is taciturn again? They are reserved people. Despondency, they are low spirited. Vindictive is holding on grudges. That is desire for revenge. I'm a characteristic one. Now we are going to go in deep into the characteristic symptoms of nitric acid. The keynote symptoms are, first we'll see about the most peculiar, the most characteristic symptom, that is the discharges. The discharges are offensive, thin, excoriating, that is corrosive, excoriating discharges, and highly offensive. You can see they are highly offensive. If purulent, dirty yellowish green. Ulcers have exuberant granulations and bleed easily. Since it is a hemorrhagic remedy, the ulcers are going to bleed easily, and exuberant granulations. What is exuberant? The growth which is not normal. There is an overgrowth which is growing profusely. The granulation tissue which is growing profusely are known as exuberant granulations. The dressing causes bleeding, and every touch causes sticking pain as if from splinters. So guys, this is very characteristic. You need to remember this. Sticking pain as if from splinters. Sticking pain as if from splinters is very characteristic in nitric acid. Now let us move on to the pains. Sticking, pricking as from splinters. Sudden appearing and disappearing of pains on change of temperature or weather. During sleep, gnawing here and there as from ulcers forming. What is gnawing? They are persistently worrying about the ulcers. So guys, here we are discussing about the pains. You need to know that splinter-like pain is what you have to remember. It is pricking and sticking. You can see it is pricking and sticking. Splinter-like pain. They are appearing and disappearing pains, and the pains appear during the change of the weather or during the sleep, and he is persistently worrying about these pains. Then we move on to the sensation of nitric acid. Sensation of a band around head, around the bones. So he is having a sensation of a band around his head and around the bones, of a splinter in affected parts. The grand keynote of nitric acid is it requires a touch or movement to elicit it. So the sensation, that is the splinter-like pain and everything, it requires a touch or a movement to elicit it. The throat, the act of swallowing, in the anus, the passage of stool, and the ulcers on touch all have an aggravation from the slightest touch or contact. So for the thing to elicit, the pain to elicit, you need a slightest touch or motion. The touch or a motion is going to aggravate the pain. The ulcers are in the growing toenail. Now let us go in depth about each characteristic symptom. First we'll start with ulcers. Ulcers bleed easily. The location of ulcers is the mouth and the genitals. On the genitals there is canker. The sensation, splinter-like pain on contact. Hepasulf. Guys, splinter-like pain, it is found in nitric acid as well as in hepasulf. Splinter-like pain is very characteristic. You have to remember this. The shape of the ulcer, zigzag irregular edges. You can see the ulcers. It is zigzag irregular edges. It is not circumscribed clean. You can't find the clean margins here. They are irregular margins, irregular edges. The base looks like raw flesh. Exuberant granulations, as I told prior, exuberant are, they grow profusely. Next, weakness. There is great exhaustion, debility and prostration. exhaustion, debility, prostration. As I explained earlier, there is prostration, exhaustion found in them. Move on to the hemorrhages. Nitric acid has bleeding tendencies, hemorrhages from bowels in typhoid. The character of blood is bright red and profuse. You can see the hemorrhages, it is bright red and profuse hemorrhages, bleeding from the nose, mouth and uterus. Hemorrhage, you need to remember, the character of the blood is bright red and profuse. The hemorrhages are found from bowels and typhoid. And also from the mucocutaneous junctions, there is ulcer formation and everything. They have a bleeding tendency, so on touch it bleeds. Urine is scanty, that is less in quantity, turbid, seems concentrated, highly offensive. It smells like horse urine. So guys, the urine you have to remember very characteristic is the smell of the urine of nitric acid patient is similar to that of horse's urine. The urine is going to be scanty, turbid, concentrated and offensive. The pains are after stool, the pains are more intense, violent pains after stool lasting for hours. The pains are going to last for long time, for few hours they are going to last, and during stool as if the anus and the rectum were torn and pierced. With this we come to an end of nitric acid. Thank you for your patient listening. If you like my video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.